I think 11's quite a sort of difficult age for a female, and I just went right off the rails. There was a bit of tearaway, got into a bit of football, petty theft, yeah, and everything that goes with it. And then decided at 15 to stick my thumb out and head it down to London, where obviously the streets are paved with gold, and I was going to make my mark on the world. I was luckily picked up by a couple of lads that were okay, and I blagged them to take me to London because I knew the drummer in a band who lived in London, God knows where. I actually, for a while, slept just off Leicester Square. It was in a bin shed. I got pregnant later on while I was in London, but I went back to Portsmouth, had a child, and I ended up in a domestic abuse relationship. My nan lived here, and my mum was actually brought up in Ross-on-Wye, and I spent loads and loads of holidays as a kid here. So it was always a really happy place. But I was going to come here for a year, 30 years ago. Emotional poverty is something no one ever talks about. It's okay if you've got a mate the electric last, if you've got someone you can talk to. It's okay if you've got a neighbour that you can borrow sugar off of. But actually, like, the connections between people go on and say, oh yeah, what you're doing is philanthropy. It's not, it's just not being an arse. Yeah, it's just, if you see someone that's struggling, why wouldn't you help them? You know, I remember explaining to somebody, I was like, yeah, we'll give everyone free food when they come in. And they were like, you can't do that. You can't do that. And I was like, I blooming can. And I will. And it's not about the food. It's about the fact that when they're sat eating their meal, they're being loved. I come in every Tuesday on my day off. Tuesday's my afternoon off. And I come in every Tuesday to cook food because it's important. It's important that people know this is my day off and I'll come in to give you food. They might not have had that ever. They might not have had that recently. Some people eat alone every day. It's not nice, you know, and sitting next to someone while you're eating is a huge thing. We've been doing it since caveman times, breaking bread together, sitting around, you know, it's important. And it's not just important, it's important on an emotional level. And that poverty is the one thing that resonates over everything. Actually, the one thing that I've realised is, since I started doing community link work, it's not just one issue. So it's not just homelessness, sofa surfing, drug or alcohol. It's not just domestic abuse. It's the fact that Doreen hasn't seen anyone for a week and her daughter can't be bothered with her. It's the fact that someone might like to just go and watch television in a safe space and be warm. Someone might not have money to have a shower, or like we've got one young girl that comes in and has a shower because she's got no one to mind her child while she has a shower. I wanted it to be somewhere for everyone. Everyone's got a need. Everyone's got a need. So last week it was filling in paperwork for people to have access to their children. You know, it's something different every day. So this space, I knew since I came to Ross, it was the first gym I ever used, and I've always loved the space. So a friend of mine was offered the space, but we rocked up and she was like, there's no way I'm doing anything to this space. It had been derelict for a long time. It had been used for storage, but after its use as a gym, somebody then turned it into a cannabis grow, and then it was literally derelict and the pigeons had taken over. Pigeons have been getting in through a hole in the wall, and they'd just made the building their own. So there was a lot of pigeon poo. And I got in touch with the landlords of this space and I was like, oh, how much do you want for me to go in there? Like £500. Like, yeah, I'll do that. And then I was like, oh my God, I've got to raise 500 quid. So I raised the 500 quid and then got a builder in because I knew I couldn't do the building on my own. It was just too much building work. So I was like, oh, how much do you think it's going to cost? And I was thinking like maybe 3,000, 4,000. And he was like 50,000. And I was like, oh my God. But I'd already like knocked down walls in the back. And I thought, I've signed a lease. I've knocked down walls. I'm going to have to make it right now. And I'm going to have to blag builders. So I just literally got in touch with every builder that I knew, put out shout outs on social media, on Facebook. Can anyone give me a window? Can anyone fit a window? I had a quote for the window and it was nearly £5,000 and I was just like, oh my God. And then someone just like rocked up and was like, yeah, I've got a manufacturer to give you what you need and I'll fit it for nothing. And I was like, what? Like the kindness that people showed is just like, it's madness. It's mad. I had builders in here for weeks and weeks and weeks doing stuff for nothing, you know, building supplies, giving me stuff for nothing. Like, and in the end, it was like, am I living on a parallel universe? Because I'd been quoted for the shower room, and people were like, yeah, it's about 12.5 grand. Someone had offered me 2,000, and I thought, I can't even buy what I need to put in there. So I just like walked into a place and was like, yeah, I'm Millie, I'm do this, that's my social media. Can I have a shower? And they were like, yeah. And it just grew. And people were like, yeah, there's a heater, there's a shower, there's shower enclosure, there's some flooring, because that was like 4,500 as well for the flooring. It was mad how, and it was like people were bringing in, like, there's a tin opener, there's some towels. You know, what do you need? There's a lamp, there's a plant. It was crazy because I had nothing. Like, this was an empty space. Now it's lovely when we get things we want. Like, we managed to get a microwave the other day. Like, I did such a little happy dance because like, we've got a microwave and it's green. It goes with the kettle. I wanted it to be a nice space. I didn't want it to be a church hall where people sit in their depression and get more depressed because they're given chipped cups and, you know, crap biscuits. I remember walking in there, I went outside, like the balloons were out, the ribbon was set, the High Sheriff was coming, and I went outside, and the opening day, we were like, we're not having the great and the good, we're having everyone that's helped us. We managed to get like 50 t-shirts with Hub Hero on because I wanted everyone to really pat themselves on the back because I couldn't have done any of this without everyone else. And I went outside and had a cigarette and I looked in and I literally had to pinch myself because I was like, this is all I dreamt of and more. And I'm not proud of a lot of things. I really struggle with going, actually, I was all right at doing that. But when I looked out, or looked inside from outside, and there was a gathering of people, and they were all people that had slogged their guts out doing this, I was like, oh my God, we've done it. We've actually done it. This is happening. You know, stuff worrying about how we're going to get rent for the next God knows how long. Stuff all that. This week, we've got enough money to buy coffee, tea and cake, and we've done it. Yeah, it was magnificent. Yeah. Surreal. I need a boxing ring, preferably a fold down one, 11 foot by 11 foot, thank you people. I need gym flooring. I've been donated some steels because I want to create a mezzanine flooring. Above the mezzanine flooring, this is where everyone normally goes, you're crazy, but I know it's going to be done. Above the mezzanine flooring, I'm going to have some seating, like I've created seating here. I'm going to have a projector. Above where the boxing ring is going to be a drop-down cinema screen. under the mezzanine is going to be 3 boxing bags, so I need 3 boxing bags and everything that goes with it, plaster, wood, boarding to create a mezzanine. I need loads. I need lovely builders, merchants and lovely builders really, and a bit of plumbing.